Hey folks, welcome back to Good Enough Customs. So today is a little bit different than days in the past here. Last week we went and pulled a piece of crap Fiero out of the woods, and we pulled 3 C10s and then a truck cab out of the woods. So those are all kind of set in place for the time being. So this weekend, helping out my buddy Travis. There's Travis. And helping him out with his 80. This is his 87 Toyota 4Runner. He's had this thing for a while. How long have you had this thing?
I got it like 04, 05.
Yeah, so he's had it since like 04, 05. So he's had it for a while. I remember when he got it, he did a bunch of work to it, getting it up and running. I think he rebuilt the motor and transmission. Yeah, so he went all through this thing. Well, as things tend to happen, life gets in the way, things happen. And so as you can kind of tell, the truck's been sitting for a while. He says the tag's showing 2017, so it's definitely been off the road for about 5 years. So little 22 RE in it. So what we got to do to this guy is we've got to get the transmission out, because we got a cracked flex plate. So we got the tranny out so we can get the flex plate fixed. We got to bleed the brakes and replace a pinion seal, correct? And just some general maintenance on this thing, just to make sure everything's running good and everything. He's actually giving this to his son, who's just turning 16. So his son's going to be driving this thing. So I want to make sure it's safe and ready to go to be on the road. So seems to be a common theme here lately, giving vehicles to 16-year-olds. So anyways, so we're going to get cracking on this guy, and y'all guys can follow along, and we'll check back in here in just a bit. All right, folks. Well, it's next day, much colder day. It was like 70 degrees yesterday, and now it's like 20. So not cool, man. But anyway, so rolled the blazer out, and mainly because I can't get a hold of the guy that's got my engine hoist. So I've got my ceiling hoist that I set up over here, but the blazer was in the way, so I had to get the blazer out of here. And so we got dollies on this guy. We're gonna put a jack on the backside, swing her around, get it over there. But first we gotta pull the hood off. And little trick for you, in case you didn't know, is whenever you gotta take a hood off, especially, take you a little Sharpie, mark around the hood hinge and the mounting location. If you don't want to use a Sharpie, I mean, we're just using a Sharpie because it's a white truck, it's a black Sharpie. The contrast is, kind of obvious here. But if you had something that you didn't want to use a Sharpie on, you could always use like a grease pencil. You know, I've got a white grease pencil that I've been using to mark up stuff with Jackson's Blazer. But you know, a white grease pencil on white paint, it's not going to work very well. So that's just one way that you can get. You can kind of help yourself to where whenever you go to put the hood back on, you get everything lined back up, everything's good to go. So we're gonna get this guy swung around, put over here underneath the hoist, and basically we just got to lift the engine up just a smidge to get it off the motor mounts, and then we got to drop it down a little bit because there's a couple bolts on the backside of that transmission that we can't get to. So we're gonna do that, and we'll catch up with y'all here just shortly. All right, folks, so we got the tranny and transfer case out. Kind of doing that sensuous thing. Since we're already in there, replacing that flex plate, which you just saw, since we got the tranny and everything out, might as well go ahead and flush the tranny, put new fluid, new filter, get all that stuff done. right, folks, quick update. So got the transmission transfer case back in. Still got to tighten up the torque converter bolts, or actually got to put them in. Went ahead and got all the hoses and stuff that we disconnected on the top end of the motor. Got all that stuff reconnected. Still got to top off put some coolant back in it. We got to adjust the I'm just going to call it a kick down cable because it's basically what it seems like it does. Still have to tighten up that fuel line fitting. It's just snug down at the moment, so we got to get all, you know, we're pretty well buttoned up here underneath the hood. Got all the computer connections connected up down here, on way down up underneath there. So kind of what we did under here was we got this extra jack, put it on this cross member, jacked up the rear end, had the tranny jack over here to jack the front end up, get it set in, got it pretty lined up. Once we had it good and lined up, went ahead and ran them home, got the bolts in, and then we got the cross member just loosely in there right now with a couple bolts just to hold it in place. And Travis is over there getting all the linkage hooked up, getting the drive shaft hooked up, you know, doing all that little fun crap that we got to do. And so that's kind of where we are right now. It's not a fun job, but hey, could be worse. We're at least in the shop working on something fun anyways. But surprisingly, transmission went in pretty easy. I was a little shocked about how easy that thing went back up in its place. So now, like I said, all we got left is getting the flywheel bolts bolted up for the torque converter, and just all the little stuff. So we still got to get the sway bar up, finish bolting in the cross member here for the transmission. I believe the exhaust still has to get bolted up, but yeah, getting pretty close. So yeah, we'll catch back up here shortly.
What happened to how I tore how I tore the flywheel up?
Is it hydrolocking? Holy shit. There's the problem. Let me turn this heater off.
Yeah.
Wow. That might be a little suspect.
Good Lord. Look at that Allen wrench I just had.
I mean, you may have a stuck injector. For that amount of fuel, you probably got a stuck injector.
Yeah, that was.
Turn it over again real fast. Let's see what you've done since you've had that pump running. Because if that pump's running and that injector's stuck open,
It's just gonna.
she's gonna fill it right back up and sling it shit everywhere. Oh, and it's pouring out. Holy crap. Yeah, you got a stuck injector, dude. Fire hazard! No spark. I'm gonna open up the door.
Yeah.
One, we're gonna get high as hell. Two, that's a huge fire hazard. Wow. That is impressive. I'm gonna unplug this as well.
Yeah.
Oh, let's unplug the refrigerator. Refrigerator goes, oh, it's a little toasty in here. Let me kick my compressor on and do a little arc flash. All right, folks. So now we know why the flex plate got the chipped teeth on it. So apparently, well, we pulled out the plugs because it was trying to get this thing start. So we pulled the plugs out. With the plugs in, it was hitting really hard, and it was basically bucking the whenever it hit that compression stroke, it tried to buck it back. So I was like, okay, something's got to be in the cylinders. We either got water in the cylinder or gas in the cylinder. So we pulled the plugs, and first thing we notice is the plugs are pretty fouled. A lot of carbon. This thing's been running rich, as some would say, richer than Bill Gates. So number 2 is actually our worst looking plug. I mean, that thing is black. And then when I pulled number 4 out, it was wet. I was like, okay, that's not a good sign. I gave it a quick sniff, and yeah, it smelled like gas. So bumped it over, and as you probably just saw in that last little clip, this thing shot gas clear over there. I know it got on my jacket over there. So we had to quick shut everything off, shut everything down, open up the door, get the fumes out, because it was just a giant fire hazard in here. So so it looks like the number 4 cylinder, the fuel injector, is sticking open, and it's just basically filling up that cylinder. As soon as he turns the key on and that pump hits, it's just filling that cylinder up. So unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to get a chance to actually fire this thing off and get it running for this. But now we know what the problem is. So that shouldn't be too difficult to fix. Getting a new injector put on that, and that should clear that up. And then tweaking on that fuel pressure regulator. It's up a little high right now, but pull that back a little bit and it should be good. But yeah, good times. All right, folks, back out here, final day.
So you know, last night had the little fountain of fuel coming out of the number 4 cylinder. So let the shop air out, you know, real good. So we got out here this morning, just a little bit of stink left, not much. We can run the heater again. And then, so all we got really left to do today is put the hood back on, bleed the brakes, put the drive shaft in, and top off the rear diff. And then I think we're gonna load her up and get it on out of here. And then Travis said he's found a couple shops that can service the injectors, or at least he's gonna check and see if they can service the injectors, and go and get those injectors checked out. We also did double check on the pull the dipstick, double check the oil, and it's about half as much too full as it should be. And it reeks of gasoline in the oil, so the oil's got to get changed as well. So that's pretty much it for what we got right now, and we're gonna get at it and try to get this all knocked out. So we'll catch up here in a bit. All right, folks, so that's gonna wrap it up for this one. So we got the 4Runner all loaded up on the trailer here. Just kind of recap what all we did is, you know, flex plate was chipped out, had some teeth missing. Actually, it was 4 teeth. So we had to drop the training transfer case out. While we had that out, we did fluid and filter change, drained off the rear diff. He's gonna top that rear diff off after he gets home. We bled the brakes out, got the new flex plate on, got everything put up, and then discovered the reason why the flex plate got chipped, being that number 4 cylinder is just filling up with fuel. Anyhow, pretty much it's all ready to go. He's going to go and take fuel injectors over to an injector place and see if they can't you know, rebuild them for him instead of just going and purchasing new ones. So anyways, I guess that'll do it for this one. Appreciate y'all guys watching, and if you haven't liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. If you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and those always help out a whole lot. So just remember, it ain't got to be perfect, just good enough. Y'all guys have a good one.